Greetings, boys and girls. It is I, your old friend, Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, lover of movies and culture. And today I'm going to discuss one of my all-time favorite series, Star Wars. Specifically, there's a new Star Wars that's getting a lot of attention as of late. Star Wars Acolyte, the latest in the TV series that you can stream on Disney Plus. Now, specifically, it's getting a lot of drama because it's considered the most woke Star Wars ever, and also has recently been canceled. So, we will take a few moments to explore that. Before we begin, of course, I am Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, and I was around when the first Star Wars came out. Loved it to pieces, and I've been watching everything Star Wars ever since. And I will continue to watch Star Wars, probably, unless they really insult me a lot. But that would take some major effort. Not that they're not trying. Now, The Acolyte has been canceled, and a lot of people are upset about this, and a lot of people are happy about this, and rejoicing. Now, one of the reasons people think that Star Wars was woke is because its cast didn't include necessarily a lot of, for lack of a better term, white men. They did have a couple, but they kind of played dorky, dumb, insignificant characters. Well, this is Star Wars. There's aliens. That's neither here nor there. However, they did totally waste Carrie-Anne Moss, the star of Matrix, as a background character that didn't really do much, which was a crying shame. I mean, she brought a lot of people who wanted to see her specifically, and then they just pissed her away. I don't know. That seems kind of lame to me, but who am I to argue with the people in Disney that get paid millions of dollars? Now, they introduced a new character called the Stranger, who's like the dark, evil, sort of Darth Vader character in this one, who has this cool helmet. And not surprisingly, he turned out to be this character, the only other character in it that wasn't a Jedi, that was following around the actual murderer. It was kind of a murder mystery, I suppose, but not really. I don't know. It was really, when you break it down, more than anything, almost a love story between the main character, Osha, and her, copy clone, and the Stranger, who was this hot young Asian guy who kind of pretended to be her poison earring sidekick at first. Spoiler alert! Spoilers! Lots of spoilers in here! And if you haven't seen it already, you probably don't want to see it, so who cares? But in reality, it's basically 50 Shades of Grey told in Star Wars. You got this powerful, bad guy who's trying to seduce this pure young person and get them to give in to their darkness. And even, uses this blindness thing, this helmet, to make him blind, just like they blindfold her. Although, at the same time, it's a story about these two people. They're not exactly twins, and they're not exactly clones. Somehow, they're the same person split in two. One gets groomed by the Jedi Asian guy. The other gets groomed by the Sith Asian guy. And both of them failed, ultimately, in making the perfect Jedi or Sith acolyte. And they're both kind of trying to seduce the other sister, twin, or whatever you wish to call them, to their side to make up for it. While they're both trying to sort of destroy the other groomer. Really, not only is it like 50 Shades of Grey, it's kind of like the Twilight Saga, where you got this one innocent Mary Sue, very bland female character, torn between two warring factions of power that both want to seduce her and make them under their own. Now, the next reason people think it's woke is because they have a group of Dimitri witches. And this one, I guess they're all lesbian, and it turns out that they created May and Osha using the Force. Which, I mean, the Dimitri witches were around before, but in the past, they were kind of shown as being dark and sinister and evil. In this one, they remake them into being sympathetic. Really, they're retelling the tale of how the Celtic witches and Wiccans got destroyed by the Catholic Church, with the Jedi being the domineering Catholics who won't allow any other expression of their religion, and the poor Dimitri lesbian witches being the Wiccan Celtics, being suppressed by these big bad Catholics who are want to take their children away and groom them to be Catholics instead of letting them experience the natural religion and magic. Now, the one thing I will say, by having them use the Force to create their children, they take away from the saga of Darth Vader, who's supposed to be the chosen one because the Force created him without natural insemination. I mean, it is what it is. It does cheapen the Darth Vader story, but whatever. Science fiction, space witches, I don't know. Well, the bottom line is it tanked. It didn't make a lot of money. And as a result, they canceled the second season, which has some people upset because they ended it on a cliffhanger, waiting for another season. The Kathleen Kennedy, Headland, and the female stars of it, are all claiming that it got canceled because of the toxic male culture, the toxic masculinity, all the fans not liking it because it was woke. They are flat out calling us sexist and bigots and whatnot. And unfortunately, you cannot defend the Star Wars Acolyte and say it's not woke when the creators, the writers, the directors, and the actors are all claiming it's woke, and that's why it got canceled. The theory that toxic males are responsible for its cancellation is a little twisted. Because here's the simple fact. It got canceled because they spent $180 million on it, and it didn't make money. Now, it's true that you made a series that wouldn't appeal to your primary fan base, who you like to call toxic males. However, the simple fact is, if there were enough of you woke, liberal females that wanted to watch it, it would have still gotten good ratings and still made money for Disney, and they would still keep it going. You cannot guilt the so-called toxic males into watching something that you made specifically to piss them off. It's not going to happen. So if you make something that pisses off your primary fan base, don't cry when they don't come and watch it. Use your brain. Now, here's the deal. If you, instead of writing petitions, and instead of trying to guilt people, and instead of saying it's the toxic male's fault, you found a bunch of people to get together and watch it, to make it successful, and make it make money, Disney would be happy to do a second series, because they are a business. They want to make money. So if you make money for them, they will keep making what you want. But you don't have the audience. The audience that likes Star Wars is not the audience that you're trying to make movies for. And the people you're trying to make movies for watch things like 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight. They don't watch a watered down Star Wars version of it. They watch the real thing. Now, personally, I think that Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey appeal to the toxic female fantasy of having rich, handsome, powerful young men that seduce these bland women and try to make it so that women won't like guys like me. You know, hefty, middle-aged, crazy people. But that is beside the point. I mean, if they're going to tell us that we can't watch the fantasies we want, then they shouldn't watch the fantasies they want. And then nobody should watch anything. And all of entertainment should die! Wait a minute, that sounds really dumb. Maybe you should do the exact opposite. Make people movies they want to see and cater to make good shows and movies people want to see that cater to their audience. Like Deadpool and Wolverine, the #1 movie in the world right now. And, you know, to say men don't like powerful females in Star Wars is a lie. We love Ahsoka. Ahsoka was a very powerful female Jedi that dropped out and became sort of a gray Jedi. We love her. Gina Carano. she was very popular amongst us so-called toxic males. She was a strong, powerful woman. But then you fired her because she had conservative viewpoints. So you got rid of a strong female role model that we adored because you didn't like her out of character politics, which has nothing to do with what you should be concerned with. And of course, we've always loved General Leia, who started out as just being mere Princess Leia, but then eventually graduated to become the leader of the New Republic and the Rebel Alliance. Come on, we love her. And let's not forget, Alien Romulus right now is an extremely popular movie, breaking box offices, and it stars a strong female who's fighting the alien threat. See, we like her, and she's a strong science fiction woman fighting aliens. It's not. Oh, and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a female superhero that did really well, successfully, because they made the character true to the comic books and made a good story. And so it did well. And let's not forget Harlequin. Harlequin is a bisexual or lesbian superhero slash villain slash anti-hero that's insane and crazy and goes around murdering people. That's sarcastic and a wise ass and about as woke as you can get. But they do good writing for her. And the fans love her. So you see, you can have woke, strong females with good writing. You can even make them gay. And we fans will like them if they have good acting and good stories. And they're true to the character. Now, a personal problem I have with this is a lot of you woke people talk about the toxic male fantasy. And to that ends, you can't have partially naked women or women that have attractive bodies showing it off. Even though in real life, we see women doing it all the time. You see them wearing booty shorts or little skin-tight pants, running around, showing off all their goods for the world to see. But you can't have it in a movie because that might make guys happy. But you have The Stranger, butt naked in the series. It's okay to exploit men to sexually gratify women and gay men, but you can't have women. That's pure bull honky. It's a double standard. It's hypocrisy at its greatest level. And frankly, I find it stupid. If you want to be able to have naked men running around to appease the women and the guys who like that sort of thing, fine. But don't try to guilt men for wanting to see the same thing with women, or for that matter, women. You know, there are some women that like looking at beautiful women bodies too. Are they toxic males for that? I don't know. I mean, you're trying to delete Carrie Fisher's slave outfit. You destroyed all the action figures, are destroying all the pictures. You'd love to edit her right out of The Return of the Jedi, but obviously she's stuck there because that was a big part of the movie. But it's okay to have The Stranger butt naked. I'm telling you, I don't care if you make Star Wars movies and superhero movies for the woke culture. I don't care if you make them for women. But don't sit there and try to shame men and not make movies for men because you don't like it. I mean, men have their action fantasies. Women have their romance fantasies. The simple fact is, you made a series that you knew was going to piss off the mainstream fans. You made a series designed for a specific culture that doesn't really like Star Wars and didn't go to see it. You spent $180 million and Disney lost the money. And therefore, Disney canceled it. They didn't cancel it because all the woke men were saying they should, because they've been saying that for a lot of Star Wars and Marvel things for quite some time, and they keep going for it. No, they canceled it because they need money. They live to make money. And you did not make them money. The simple solution is, if you want woke Star Wars, when they make it, you got to watch it. You got to get all your brothers and sisters and friends to go see it and bombard it and raise those Nelson ratings through the roof so everyone sees it. If you and your friends don't watch it, you can't cry when they cancel it. It's that simple. It's as simple and plain as the nose on my face. When you make things people want, that's good writing, the fans will watch it. The prime example, of course, Alien Romulus and Deadpool, the two most current successful movies that gave fans what they wanted and did a good job telling a good story. See, you gave the Star Wars fans what they didn't want. You purposely pissed them off, and then you're like, well, if you didn't like it, you're a woke, toxic male bigot. Well, fine, they're woke, toxic male bigots, but they're not going to watch it because you can't shame or guilt people into watching something. You can only get them to watch something by making something they are interested in and that they want to see. Now, I will be honest. I watched The Acolyte and I didn't hate it. It's not my favorite Star Wars. In fact, it's on my list of my least favorite, but it's better than a few things. I would say there's 3 Star Wars things I liked even less than this. The second Ewok movie, real crappy, depressing crap. The Star Wars Holiday Special, horrible, horrible, horrible. And Star Wars Andor, which really to me would have been fine if it was Blade Runner or something, but just not good Star Wars. Now, you made the Jedi kind of evil and dark in this one. And you know, Star Wars by George Lucas was supposed to be a black and white, fun universe. And you've been making Star Wars on fun all the time. It's like, yeah, I get it. You want to have dystopia shades of gray. But all science fiction has become dystopia shades of gray lately. All of it. Even Star Trek. It's like, my God, there is no such thing as fun, black and white, happy science fiction anymore. Because you all decided to all be exactly the same and non-conforming together. To have the dark worlds where all everything, even the Jedi Council New Republic, is in its heart corrupt and bad. And everything's bad and corrupt. And everyone's sad and depressed. And nobody wants to be happy. And everyone should just kill themselves because the world is a dark, depressing place. Well, we don't need to watch TV or movies to see that. All we have to do is go outside and see how messed up the world is. You see, we watch entertainment to be entertained, to escape from reality, to have a break from it, to go and witness fun tales of excitement and action. So if you give us that escape, give us what we want, give us a little fan service, give us a little bit of excitement, and take us to a world where we can be happy and escape the pains of reality, you will make money. If you don't, you will lose money. It's that simple. Now, I do believe that they should finish the Acolyte off. Like I said, end it with a cliffhanger. If you don't want to spend $180 million on another losing series, well, you know, maybe just do a final episode, whatever. Just round it up so we can see it end. I mean, it was okay, but just barely okay to watch. It was not my favorite thing at all, but it was enjoyable enough for me to watch all the episodes and not feel cheated for having done so. So in any case, that's it. That's my all I have to say about the Acolyte. Yeah, it's woke because the creators, the writers, and the actors tell us it's woke, and they brag about it being woke. So there's no question it is woke. Yeah, it did bad. No one saw it. It didn't make any money. It lost money. Disney canceled it because it didn't make any money. Now the woke people that made it are mad and blaming the men and the Star Wars fans for not watching it. But little do they understand, you can't force people to watch something they don't want to see. It's really simple. You either have to find a new audience and get them to watch it. So you should be finding all your Twilight friends and all your 50 Shades of Grey friends and all your liberal woke friends and tell them to watch the movie. Go right now to Disney and watch the heck out of it. And so it makes a bunch of money. And then they will be happy to do the season 2. And if you don't, you have no one to blame but yourself. You can't make something that alienates the mainstream fans and then cry when they don't go to see it. Because it's your fault. Your fault. You can't make something people don't want to see and then cry when they don't see it. This is simple reality. And all the crying and complaining isn't going to change reality. Now, I love Star Wars, and I want to see more Star Wars. I want to be in Star Wars. But if you guys don't make good Star Wars, it might not happen. So please, Disney, make good Star Wars. And please, all you woke people who hate all the toxic fans of Star Wars, bring in your people to watch it so you don't have to complain about the people that don't want to watch the stuff you make. You know, there's no reason we can't have normal Star Wars and woke Star Wars and triangle Star Wars and crazy Star Wars and vampire Star Wars and Smurfy Star Wars. We can have every version of Star Wars as long as there's a fan base to support it. And I'm all for that. I'm for infinite diversity and infinite combinations as long as it's fun and good. And if it's not fun, as long as it's dramatic and non-fun in a cool sort of way. But you have to have fans that like it and fans that watch it for that to happen. So don't make stuff that pisses the fans off and then cry when they don't see it. Unless you can supply a new fan base. Use your brains. Think. Because basically entertainment is an industry that needs to make money. At least on the billionaire levels. Now when you're writing fan fiction, you can do whatever you want. But the mega corporations need to make money. And if you're not making money for them, they will fire you. And so, as they call it, the woke virus is kind of dying out because it consumes businesses and eats them up and destroys their profits. But in the end, the businesses want profits more. And so they're now seeking the cure for that woke virus. So if you don't help them find money, the woke culture is going to die. It's really that simple. Until next time, the simper Jonwayne Frankenstein saying keep watching the movies, keep watching the TV, keep yourself entertained, because reality kind of sucks. And a little escapism is good. Of course, we could all work together to make reality a better place. We could all just get along and like each other and work together to help each other evolve and become the best versions of ourselves. In fact, we probably should do that. But a lot of you are a little too lazy for that. So until next time, we'll see you later.